Hello there, and welcome to What the Dog podcast, where we talk about what your dog's doing, why they're doing it, and can we fix it. My name is Katie. I'm the owner and trainer here at For Pete's Sake Dog Training, and today we are talking about the holidays. It is currently right between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I've had some clients reach out to me about how their dog did with guests at Thanksgiving, especially if the dog didn't do very well in their eyes. The dogs are trying their best, okay? And this is a stressful time for everybody. So I wanted to make this podcast episode to give you some pointers and to open up your thought process about how your dog feels, potentially could feel, and interpret the holidays. And it is honestly very common for dogs to not be able to quickly, quote, adjust to people coming into the house. Even if you've had your dog for years, I strongly suggest that you consider listening to this podcast and even keeping an eye out on things, because as our dogs get older, we may have a little bit more pain, be in a little bit more discomfort. We may not adjust as quickly or as normally to situations, and that's all very common. So it's very easy for us to think, well, my dog's been okay in the past, so they should be okay today. And I'm not saying your dog won't be okay. I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind, that it is normal for your dog to maybe act differently this holiday season than they have in the past, especially as they get older. Or maybe you have a new to you dog and you're not exactly sure how they're going to behave and react around people. So this would be a great episode for you. And if anything, if you feel like this doesn't apply to you, at least stick around to maybe find out some pointers or tips that you could try this holiday season just to make it more enjoyable and easier for your dog. Even if you think that they have an absolute blast during the holiday, I can almost guarantee that your dog does deal with a little bit of either stress or anxiety when having a shift in their schedule and a lot of people come over to your house. So if we can do just a little bit, something a little different to help your dog adjust this holiday season, I think we're all going to be doing right by our dogs. So as always, I'll make this kind of brief, pretty much to the point, so we can all get on our merry way and find these answers as quick and painless as we move along. So what I want to talk about to start is trying to understand our dog's perspective a little bit. Like I said, you may feel like your dog is happy-go-lucky and just absolutely adores everybody coming into their house, and this really doesn't seem like it would be a problem for you. But like I said, your dog can change over time as they get older, and realistically, your dog is going through some sort of anxiety or stress around this time of year. And if anything, it's just something that we can think about from our dog's point of view. When you have people come into your house, there's a lot of things going on, whether you have 5 people come and visit or 30, right? It's a change in routine. You are getting tables and chairs set up. You are buying more groceries, different decorations around the house. My dog is very sensitive to when I move things around, and I have a little, potential ADHD. I am constantly reorganizing and moving things around, and when I do that, he is by my hip. We've moved 4 times with him, so just moving different decorations and tables and chairs around can be a little stressful for him, and he knows something's different. So that change in routine can be a little unsettling for our dogs on occasion. The day of, we have new people, new smells, maybe new babies, food, presents, lots of things coming into the house that are very new, whether that is, again, the actual people or what they're bringing with them. And with that comes some unpredictability in the energy of those people, especially if we have a lot of children. Children can be hard for dogs to comprehend and realize what they're doing because they are shorter, they're more at the dog's eye level. They can be loud, they can make very random movements, quick movements. So it's common for dogs to be a little bit more cautious around children because of that unpredictability at the same time. So these are all areas that could, and things that can be going through our dog's head very quickly, whether that's in the days coming, preparing, or the day of. So it's very important for us to recognize any stress signals that our dogs may be showing either beforehand or the day of, from pacing, whining, drooling. Like I said, my dog is very clingy to me during these times. Day of, if they're overstimulated by barking, excessive jumping, you may think your dog's just very excited to see people, but jumping is, we call that fidgeting. With stress and anxiety, that is a very normal response. So while they may be happy, they may also be experiencing some, oh my gosh, what's going on, and uncertainty, and that can come out as looking just overly excited. So we want to make sure that, the pacing, barking, stealing things, kind of quote acting out of character, maybe we're getting into more trouble, that excessiveness, we recognize that as our dog may need some help calming down. And even leading up to anything that we may think our dog is showing some uncertainty about what's going on, let's make sure that we're helping them calm down as well in those moments. Now, getting into how do we calm our dogs down very briefly. If you're thinking about giving your dog supplements or medications, you definitely need to talk to your veterinarian. They may have, especially if your dog is very anxious in these situations, medications and supplements may be the right path for you. But there's a variety of over-the-counter supplements as well as different medications, different doses. Dogs have different systems, weights, all of that. So you need to talk to your vet if you are thinking about giving your dog anything that they can ingest in a way on helping them relax. There are other things too that you can talk to them about, diffusers and calming collars or thunder shirts, things that do help dogs relax as well, that are not as ingesting, more environmental, that can help them. So you always want to talk to your vet about that. Generally though, for dogs are all different. So generally I'm going to think of 3 topics, whether it's the day of or beforehand, on how I can help my dog relax. And those activities are usually sniffing, chewing, or licking. Those are very natural activities that dogs will do to help them relax. Lick mats, frozen Kongs. If you don't want an actual toy, you can make frozen lickable items from veggies. People have made things from bell peppers, hollowing out bell peppers and making a lick toy with that. Chewing, chew bones, bully sticks. As long as your dog can be safe, if you're not able to supervise them with all of these items, that's going to be really important. Honestly, frozen vegetables can be a great resource for that as well. And sniffing, snuffle mats, hide and seek with toys, food puzzles. So there's a lot of things that we can do that in those moments to help our dog relax. But if we need things that are more long term, we may go that route of talking to your veterinarian about what you can do to help your dog. That's a little bit more long term, hours, right? To help them overall. In preparation to the day of, also think about what behaviors and skills you would like your dog to have. So if people are coming into the door, would you like them to be laying on their bed and staying in a place? Practice your place. Literally ring your own doorbell, or if you have multiple people in the house, have them go ring the doorbell. Practice your place cue. Have neighbors come into your house, carrying boxes and things. Mimic what will be going on as much as you can, and practice, because we cannot expect our dog to do these behaviors when it's just us coming home very calmly, and they do place all the time. But when we have 12 people coming into the house holding things, and this distraction has way elevated than normal, we cannot expect them to still do that behavior in a for them, it's honestly a different environment and a different level of distraction. We need to practice. If we want that to happen, we have to practice it. Maybe you just want something a little bit more simple. Recall, sit, stay, right? Leave it, drops, things like that. Those behaviors, continue to practice them and just think about, well, what if this situation happened? I want to practice this behavior in that situation, right? Think about too, if you want to manage your dog a little bit more outside of that. So where are you going to place the food? In the kitchen, on the island, on the counters? Do I want my dog in the kitchen? Do I need to get baby gates or X-Pen gates that I can pop up really quickly and help my dog not be able to go into this area so they can't jump on the counters and get the food, right? Probably more of an issue for our bigger dogs versus smaller dogs. Honestly, this may be something too if you have cats or other pets, but you get the idea. Do I need to implement making sure my dog cannot get to a certain area, right? Putting a little fireplace fencing around the tree for presents. Maybe presents need to go up on a higher table in a different room. Where am I going to put the coats and the shoes? And is my dog going to steal the shoes? Do I need to have, more of a bin that the shoes go in? And all of these things you need to think about preparing and have your guests prepared, and something that's very easy to manage because you're going to have a lot of people over and we don't want to just add it on for you, right? I always tell people there's no shame in adding gates, making your dog's world a little smaller in these types of situations, because that's honestly just helping them. It may seem like you're depriving them, but you're not. You're actually just helping them be able to succeed in what you're looking for. It's very natural for dogs to say, oh my gosh, there's a table full of food that smells really good. I want to go get it and try and eat it. And that is very natural, right? And there's new smells, maybe food they don't normally smell in the house, so they want to go investigate. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. That's kind of a mindset for you. But basically, think about what you want the day to look like. Prepare your dog for that by practicing certain cues, and then purchasing or borrowing, seeing if some of your friends have items that you can borrow of baby gates and things that can help manage the situation a little better, right? The other thing I'd want you to is to also designate a quote safe space for your dog, somewhere where they can go to if they are feeling overwhelmed, or if you feel like they need space but they're not actively seeking that space on their own. So maybe it's, a little corner of the room, their dog bed, I can give them a frozen toy there. Maybe I need to put a gate up because they have resource guarding problems. Maybe they need to be in another room. Where is that spot going to be for them to be able to just try and chill and relax? Whether that's still in the area with everyone or a completely different part of the house. Do I need to have music playing, the TV on? Do I need to have a diffuser with smells to help them calm down? What does that look like? I need to get that set up too. So basically, to prepare, we just really need to try and practice for all those situations as much as we can, those cues, getting people to come over to our house, creating that safe space, and creating management and getting management in play to really help our dogs succeed. So transitioning to now day of, it's now day of and people are coming over. Maybe we take our dog on a little extra stroll, let him go sniff, get outside, burn some extra energy before people come over. Maybe we need to, prep that enrichment, a bunch of frozen, ice cubes and licky toys and chew bones, like get everything ready, right? Burn energy, get our dog ready. If you did talk to your vet about medications, get that ready, whatever you might need to do for that, right? If needed, another management tactic the day of is, while people come in, to have your dog in another room, have them on a leash so they're not jumping on people. Especially if you have new kids and maybe even infants coming and you're not exactly sure how your dog's going to behave around them. We don't want to find that out at the door where there's this extreme increase in energy. We just don't want that. So sometimes it's easier just to have your dog away while everyone comes in and gets settled, and then bring your dog into this situation. right? There's just so much energy going on at the door. Hi, how are you? Our energy is increased. Hey, where can I put this? Where can I grab this? Where do you put the codes, right? And the dog's like, what's going on? People, you're here, I hear it. So there's just so much energy going on at the door. So if we need to like give them some space, have someone in the family holding them on a leash in the other room. They're actually like, my dog is always in another room when someone comes over. But think about what you want to do for that and help manage your dog. Maybe you're like, oh, they'll be fine. And then people start coming and then they're not fine. So maybe you just have the leash handy and then have them on a leash and build space, right? There's a lot of things you can do, but just make sure you are controlling those interactions and giving your guests very clear instructions. So if you don't have your dog managed away from the door, if they shouldn't be jumping, making sure that you are educating your guests on, hey, if my dog jumps, please, turn away. This is what you need to do because our trainer said, or this is what works for us. And please respect that and advocate for your dog and for yourself on your guests following those rules, because it is your house and it is your dog and you know best. So um, if you, side note, if you ever struggle with guests who are not listening to you, then I would just remove the dog from the situation and explain to them, like, I can bring the dog back in if they ask, but I have to have you respect my boundaries. Otherwise, I can't bring the dog back into this situation, right? So making sure that you communicate that. And then honestly, I would wear a treat pouch. Day of, I would. I mean, I know I'm a dog trainer, but still, I would be wearing a treat pouch because it's great to continue to reward the wanted behaviors and not solely focusing on fixing the unwanted behaviors, right? We can reward for good behaviors that will just enhance our dog's ability to continue doing the right thing. And they do have these little treat pouches that fit in like a front pocket of like your jeans. So if you're someone where you want something a little bit more discreet, go that route. Put a little Ziploc baggie in your pocket, whatever works. If you are someone saying, yeah, well, my dog listens really well when I have my treat pouch on because they know I have the treats, fine, right? This is a stressful day. Let's help them succeed. You can work on that later. But it's such a hard day that by making it easier for our dog by simply having treats on us all the time, if that's what it takes, like, go for it. That's one less thing off your plate. You're like, oh, this makes my life so much easier if I have my treat pouch on, then do it, right? There's no shame in that. And your dog is still learning, they're still processing. So over time, you can wean that out. But honestly, if that makes it easier, then just do it. Okay. Lastly, on day of, making sure again that you're recognizing the body language and any signs of overstimulation, stress, anxiety, fearfulness. We want to make sure that we are helping our dog take breaks and that we're giving them those enrichment activities that can help them relax and kind of manage those emotions on their own. Dogs are not the best at being like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed, I need to go do something else. I need to find a toy. I need, they're not the best at it. Some dogs will just leave a situation and manage it, but a lot of dogs just, they want to be they want to be involved and they want that attention from people, and it just gets to be unhealthy for them sometimes. So we need to step in and help them manage those emotions and help them out. And sometimes it is as simple as, hey, lay on your bed and here's a lick mat. Other times it's, you may need to go into the other room and relax for 10 minutes and then I can bring you out, right? Thinking of too, when it is time to eat, where do you want your dog and how are they managed will be really important during that time. And maybe they get their meal at the same time that you're eating your meal. It's a great thing to kind of consider too, just to make sure that they're not begging from everybody and jumping on the kids' table or anything like that. So lastly, not a lot of people think about the after, but after you have guests over, understand that this was very emotional and emotionally draining for our dogs. So giving them, again, once everyone leaves, that opportunity to relax. Maybe we do more of a licking, calming enrichment at this time. But over the next day or so, your dog may act a little different. So we want to give them a little grace, knowing that they may be a little bit more exhausted and tired. They may just sleep more. You may say, they may, if especially for our younger dogs, sometimes it seems like they're getting into more mischief and having more issues, getting into more trouble. when they're tired, very similarly to toddlers. So making sure that maybe even the day after we have time to go on walks and to do other things. It can be very hard on, especially I know a lot of weekends are just jam packed with a lot of events. So then it's like maybe I do need to increase the amount of enrichment I'm giving my dog to really, I don't have a lot of time to physically exercise them, but I can still mentally exercise them with enrichment. So maybe their dinners are not just in their bowl and their dinners are in puzzles. Maybe I save some of their dinner and soak it in water or broth and then fill, a toy and freeze it for them. And there's lots of things we can do, but just remember that after. Think about how tired you are after hosting. Your dog is just as tired because they kind of hosted in a way too. And we need to make sure that they are getting that time to decompress. Giving them some quiet time is very important for them as well. I hope this was somewhat helpful for everybody, no matter your situation. I highly encourage anyone who has a new or younger dog who maybe doesn't exactly know how they're going to act around people, just have your dog away while people come into your house. So that's not even an issue. And then when you bring them out into the area, once everyone's come in and settled, feel free to have them on a leash still if you're not unsure. I'd rather you, again, be safe than sorry. But we want to manage the situation as much as we can. And there are so many variables between all the different people around that we can't really control in a way. So the more management we put in play, the happier you will be, the happier your dog will be, and the more successful the event will be for everybody. So I hope you guys all have great holiday seasons. Make sure that if you need assistance that you reach out. You can reach out to me as a trainer or a local trainer in your area if you are not from my area. You can visit my website if you want to reach out to me, www.forpetesakedogtraining.com. And then I also do have a Patreon page where I have a lot of different trainings, 10-minute training sessions. I have moved all of my actual online courses over to my Patreon. So that's patreon.com/forpetesake. And you can check out more training tips and advice, more podcast episodes, and even webinars on that website as well. So I want to thank you all for your time. I appreciate it. And I, again, hope you have a great holiday season. So take care. See you next time.